All right, everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are live. That was about 15 minutes of sound issues. So I apologize for that, but hey, this is a free live lesson, so we're doing what we can, all right? Hopefully people are back. I see now that my sound is working. If anyone is watching who is tech savvy, then if you can explain why sometimes my Google Hangout sound picks up my audio microphone and sometimes it doesn't, I would be so appreciative because I don't understand what happens. So welcome back. We're going into our live TOEFL training today. We have so much we have to cover in this live master class. So I'm going to be sending out the replay video for everybody who can't watch live, who couldn't join live, who had the wrong link, etc. But we're just going to get right into it. So there is going to be a lot of information. There's going to be a lot of information covering the TOEFL. Quickly, I do want to make a very important announcement that everyday English lessons have changed. So let me share with you that other information. So as you know, if you have been watching English Outside the Box, you know that every Saturday we have done live lessons right here on YouTube. These are everyday English lessons, and these are everyday English lessons that help you improve your everyday English skills. So we've talked about vocabulary, grammar, phrasal verbs, all kinds of information to help your English fluency. However, this is changing. As you can see here, we are going to be meeting on Tuesdays. So we're going to be meeting on Tuesdays, okay? Every Tuesday at the same time, 8:30 a.m. for me, which is 15:30 UTC. So if you don't want to miss an everyday English lesson, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Make sure you click the bell so you get notifications so you never miss me live. Okay, so that was just an important announcement. Hello. We're going to go right into the TOEFL training now. Again, a lot of information to review. There's going to be a lot of information on these slides. So grab a piece of paper to write some notes. The replay is going to be available for a limited time. And yeah, so let's get into it. We're here because you want to improve your speaking and your writing score in the TOEFL. This is a master class, which means there's a lot of information. This is different than our everyday English lessons. This is master class training. This is basically training you would get if you were signed up to take TOEFL lessons with me online. So this is the same information I give students who pay for lessons, but I want to give some of this information to you and have it available for a limited time. So writing, let's get into writing. There are two types of essays. There's an integrated essay and there's an independent essay. The integrated essay is testing your ability to express a relationship between academic content that you've heard and read. So this is academic content, lectures, things from textbooks, and information in a university level, in a university setting. The independent essay is going to be testing your ability to respond to a familiar question in an essay format. Quality. I can't express that enough as we go through this. quality is just as important as quantity. You need to fully express your ideas. Very important note that the rater who's evaluating this knows that it's a first draft, which means that mistakes are okay. Obviously, you cannot have tons of mistakes. That's going to affect your score. But it's not expected to have this extremely comprehensive, extremely detailed essay because the rater knows what the circumstances are. Everything we're reviewing today is from the official ETS TOEFL Test booklet. So all the information we're going to review today is from the test creators themselves. If you have any questions as we're reviewing this information, make sure you say it in the chat and I'll try to get to it if we have time, and I'll definitely try to get to it. Integrated essay. Okay, so this is the integrated essay. Integrated because you have a reading and a listening. The reading passage is going to be available for you for about 3 minutes. Then you're going to hear a short lecture. The writing task is going to have you summarize the lecture and connect to specific points from the reading, okay? So this is integrated. You must connect the two. The reading passage is going to appear on the screen. Then you'll hear a narrator introduce the lecture. Then you'll hear the lecture. The reading passage is going to then reappear on the screen with your directions and writing task. And this integrated essay gives you 20 minutes of writing time. The phrasing of the task is important, and it's incredibly important if you're preparing for the TOEFL to know what to expect and to know how to prepare. So, you are either going to be asked to challenge information or to support information. That means that you are going to have reading and audio that challenge one another, or reading or audio that support one another. If you have challenging information, then you are going to see something like summarize the points made in the lecture, and be sure to explain how they cast doubt on specific points, or being sure to explain how they challenge specific claims, or being sure to specifically explain how they answer the problems. If you have a supporting or strengthening question, then you are going to see summarize the points made in the lecture, being sure to explain how they support the explanations in the reading, or how they strengthen specific points. Again, we're reviewing this because it's important for you to know what to expect in the integrated writing section. Strategies. Let's go over a couple of strategies for the integrated essay. You want to definitely make sure that you take notes. What I recommend is you have your note paper, draw a line down the middle or fold it in half, have all of your reading notes on one side, have your listening notes on the other, and have it easier for you to compare. Okay? The reading is going to reappear, so keep that in mind. However, you'll want to have notes that you can connect when it comes to the writing. You want to pay attention to the main idea of the reading. So as you review the reading, is it taking a position on an issue? Is it introducing an idea about how something works? Or is it about a natural phenomenon? Pay attention to the main idea of the reading. That will give you a major indication of what the listening is going to be about. Okay? Then, how is the main idea presented in the reading? Okay? How is it presented? Is it giving arguments? Is it giving an explanation presented? Is it showing why something could or could not work? So follow how it's presented. Generally, it's going to develop with 3 major points. Those major points are going to be what you talk about in the essay. Okay. So, again, you want to pay attention to how the information is also given in the lecture. So there is a strategy to how the information is given. It's not just thrown at you in an unorganized way. There's strategy that you can follow and structure that you can follow to be aware and to be ready. So pay attention to how the information is given in the lecture. And again, you should notice a pattern. It's going to be presenting information that makes the reading seem wrong, or it's going to somehow connect to the 3 points mentioned in the reading. Obviously, if it's supporting the reading, it's going to present information that makes the reading even more true. So you should definitely notice a pattern in how the reading is presented and how the lecture is presented. And that is why your notes are incredibly important. If you have your notes side by side, you're reading on one side, you are listening on the other, you can find the related information on your notes, circle it when you get the question, so you're able to go back and utilize your notes more effectively. These notes that you take are supposed to help you and supposed to make your writing easier. So organize your notes in a way that you can find information. Let's talk about the scoring, okay? For the integrated essay, you do not want to include your opinion. This is all about facts. There's a suggested length. A lot of students ask, oh my gosh, how long should it be? How many words should I write? However, quality over quantity always. There's a suggested length because obviously if you only write 50 words, it probably won't be developed. So it gives you a suggested length. However, remember quality. Do not write just to write. Do not write just to make the essay longer. You want to keep it relevant and keep it organized. So if you have any questions about the integrated essay, you can write it in the chat. You can write it in the chat and we can go over some questions in the end. Because we got to move on to the independent essay. The independent essay is an essay. However, you're only going to read a question. Sorry, this is incorrect. You're not going to read a passage for 3 minutes. You're going to read a question. So this is not correct. You're going to read a question that appears on the screen. It is not going to be there for 3 minutes, okay? The question is going to appear on the screen, and then you're going to have 30 minutes to write. This independent essay is a writing task asking for your opinion. So it'll ask, do you agree? Do you disagree? You're going to use specific details and reasons to support your answer. It's typically going to be about 300 words. And a shorter response generally lacks fully developed ideas, okay? So this one, again, is typically 300 words. There's no maximum word limit. There's no right or wrong, or it has to be 300 words. Again, anything shorter is just probably lacking development. So you want to focus on quality. Strategies, and Dora, I believe this will answer your question. So you don't want to have wordy introductions that confuse the reader or seem unrelated. Again, don't write just to write. You also never want to introduce new ideas in the conclusion. It's all about relevancy. It's all about relevancy. Connectors. Connectors are transition words. Transition words are going to allow you to flow into new paragraphs and flow into new ideas and allow you to always connect or relate back to the main idea. You always want to connect or relate to the main idea to avoid repetition, to avoid digression, and to avoid unclear connections. So connectors are important when you're flowing between the introduction to body paragraph number 1, when you're going into the conclusion, when you're connecting ideas, etc. And ETS is the creators of this test. Strategies. So in this link, bit.ly/INDEP-TOEFL, this connects to my English learning blog where I've created a 5-minute video in an English lesson all about the independent writing essay and tips. But we're going to review it quickly here. It's important to outline. You want to outline your independent essay with an introduction, with your body, and with your conclusion. So in your introduction, you want to introduce the topic, you want to introduce a bit of detail, and you want to state your reason as the thesis in the end. In the body, you want to go over details for reason 1 and reason 2. And your conclusion should be a main idea or a summary. It should include synonyms. Remember, never include new information. What should that outline include? Well, in the introduction, remember, you want to introduce the topic. You want to start out broad by introducing the general idea. Next, you want to go into some detail, get more specific to the question, and get more specific to your answer. Finally, you want to answer the question and give your reason or reasons, which includes the thesis. This is the thesis. The thesis is exactly what your paper is about, exactly what your body paragraphs will be about. This thesis needs to match the order of your body paragraphs in the detail. As you transition with connectors into the body, you'll want to give reason 1 with details and examples, and reason 2 with details and examples. Again, this needs to connect back to your thesis. Finally, the conclusion should restate the main idea, use synonyms and like words, but never introduce new ideas, again, because this is a summary. A summary, a review of everything that you've written. So as you're joining live, as the title of this video says, this is a master class for TOEFL training. Dora, you're asking about connectors counting as one word. I believe you're asking that to think about the total word count. Does your total word count include a connector? And I'm just going to say that's probably, you're putting too much emphasis, focus, and detail on word count. So don't worry about connectors counting as one word. You want to use enough words to develop your essay in an organized way, and you want to use enough connectors to allow it to flow. Independent essay scoring. So you're rated on how well you develop your ideas and use language to express them, as well as your organization. Your idea development is the amount and the kind of support that you give. Your organization should allow the rater, the person reading and grading your essay, to go from start to finish with no confusion. So don't jump all over with your ideas. Remember, the accurate use of language is important. You want to use a variety of sentence structures and complexity. You want to use a variety of word choices, but that are appropriate as well as varying in complexity. And remember, this is a first draft and the raters know that. So minor grammatical errors are okay. A couple of typos or misspellings are okay. This becomes a problem when they cause confusion or if they're repeated again and again, which shows your lack of proficiency. If you make one grammatical error, that's okay. If you make the same grammatical error over and over, that shows that you're not familiar and you're not proficient in the language. Woo! All right, that was a lot of information about the essays. So that was information about the 2 essays in the TOEFL exam, the IBT. Integrated and independent, going over some structure, some tips, some information about the scoring. There's a lot of information with this, guys. Remember, this is general, and we're going through the main idea if you plan on taking the exam. So let's get into speaking. The speaking also has an independent and an integrated section, or independent and integrated question types. Independent is about familiar topics, where the integrated is going to be using information from a reading and a lecture, or just a lecture. This speaking test proficiency, there are 6 questions, and the total speaking section is only 20 minutes. So if you're nervous about the speaking, no, it's going to be over in 20 minutes. You're going to have response times and time limits for each of the questions. They're going to range from 45 to 60 seconds with some preparation time, and this depends on the type, and we'll get into that. There will be reading and listening sections, and you are allowed to take notes. Take notes and use your notes. The independent speaking task, as I mentioned, is going to be about familiar topics based on personal experiences. For these questions, 1 and 2, you are going to have 15 seconds to prepare your answer and 45 seconds to speak. The questions are going to be read by a narrator, and they're going to remain on the screen. Question number 1 is going to ask you about a person, a place, an object, or an experience that's familiar to you, and you're going to use your personal experience to respond. You'll need to describe something, the person, the place, the object, or the experience, and give reasons to support your answer. Why is this person important? Why did you get this object, and why is it important? Why is this event your favorite? Why is this place your favorite, etc. So it's beneficial to write down some notes to help remind you of the details when you're speaking. Utilize the 15 seconds to write down notes. We're going to talk later about your notes for each of these specific questions. However, the notes are important because you want to follow along with your pencil while you speak to stay on topic and to stay organized. Organization is key. Definitely so important. Okay. You want to use details to help you complete your response, and you want to respond to all parts of the question. So if it says describe it and say why, make sure you have description and reason. Pay attention to the question and always answer every part. Question number 2. This question is about your opinion on a specific issue, a situation. It may relate to 2 opposing views. It's going to be about a familiar topic, but it's going to ask about a side. You need to choose a side, state why you agree with the side or why you disagree, and why you feel the way you do. You must give reasons and examples. Same as question number 1, notes are beneficial, and you want to respond to all parts of the question. Be clear of your opinion. So this is important. Do not be wishy-washy. If it says choose one side, choose one side. Don't say, well, I think, both sides are okay, because it's going to be incredibly difficult to present a clear, organized response in 45 seconds about both sides. It's incredibly difficult to do, so you don't want to try to do it. Choose one side and stick with it. Let's go over some strategies. You want to be familiar with the scoring rubric. Now, this rubric, the scoring guide, is available on the TOEFL ETS website. So you can review the rubric if you're studying on the website and be familiar with the scoring necessities and what you need. Don't memorize answers. You got it? I'm going to repeat it. Don't memorize answers. You don't want to sound robotic. Definitely be practicing speaking aloud and timing yourself at home by yourself. Keep an audio journal for self-practice and progress checks. Practice taking notes. Practice speaking about familiar topics. And always stick to 2 to 4 examples. I recommend 2 in your description to allow enough time. As you practice, you want to practice giving your opinion in a variety of ways, making recommendations, and be familiar with words that are commonly used to express opinions. I believe, in my opinion, I think that, etc. Quickly going through the scoring, your responses are scored on your delivery, your language use, and your topic development. So how are you delivering it? Is it clear? Do you have fluid speech? Do you have good pronunciation? How's your intonation? How's your pacing? How's your language use? Do you use effective grammar and vocabulary? How's your topic development? Do you fully answer the question? Are they coherent? Do you use an appropriate most amount of the time? And how is the transition between ideas? Moving into the integrated speaking, we have questions 3 and 4. Questions 3 and 4 are going to test your ability to integrate information from 2 sources. You are going to have 30 seconds to prepare after you review the reading and the listening, and you're going to have 60 seconds to speak. You'll have about 45 to 50 seconds to read the text. The audio is then going to play, and then you're going to see the question appear on the screen. Questions 5 and 6 is going to be about, is going to include information from only one source. Okay, again, sorry guys, this is a typo. This is going to test your ability to integrate information from only one source listening. So I have to be clear, This slide has 5 and 6 is just listening. You are just going to listen. I think I hit copy and paste and didn't edit this when I was making my presentation, so sorry. In 5 and 6, you're gonna have 20 seconds to prepare and 60 seconds to speak. Let's go back to number 3. Question number 3. This question relates to a text about a campus-related issue, and 2 people conversing are talking about their opinions. This is going to be related to university policies, rules, campus facilities, etc. The reading is going to be general knowledge, so you don't need to know anything specific enough to answer it. It's often going to have 2 reasons supporting or against the proposed issue. The discussion or the listening section is generally going to have 1 person strongly for the issue or strongly against the issue. So it's really important to understand what the question asks, okay? Pay attention to what the question asks and answer what the question asks. Don't focus on what it does not ask. I know that seems obvious, but that's a common issue. Again, the reading and the listening is going to relate to one another. So pay attention to this relationship and take notes. Again, we're going to review how to take notes later. However, the notes are important for your organization. So you want to have them side by side, have your notes easily comparable. For question number 4, this question is going to relate to a text about an academic subject and going to connect to a professor's lecture on a similar or on the same topic. It might be related to life science or social science, humanities. It's academic. It is academic. It is academic. Okay? You won't need prior knowledge. It is going to present you with the information you need to answer, but it is, again, an academic subject. The lecture is going to provide more information on that. It's going to give details. It's going to give a counter example, maybe saying why it's wrong, or it's going to give an application, an example of the idea that's presented. Have I said how important notes are? I'm going to say it again. Notes, 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 notes. Take your notes and utilize your notes. Questions 5 and 6. Remember, questions 5 and 6 are all about audio. You are only going to hear audio for questions 5 and 6. Question 5, you're going to be presented with a conversation about a campus issue. You're going to be presented with a problem and then 2 possible solutions. You must describe the problem, the solutions, and you must describe your opinion. What solution do you prefer and why? Question 6, this question is based on an academic lecture. You'll hear an idea presented with details, and you must describe the information that was presented. So again, you won't need prior knowledge. Everything you need to answer is in the audio, is in the lecture, but it is academic in nature. So you want to be familiar with taking notes on a lecture or on academic information. That is going to be all about the speaking, the writing, and a general review of all of this information. So again, we're talking about the TOEFL. This was a TOEFL masterclass presenting you with the main structure, the main points, general tips, general strategies, and general information about the scoring of the TOEFL IBT. We talked about the 2 types of essays. We gave some tips about it. We introduced the 6 different question types for speaking, what you can expect, and some tips. But this information was for the general average learner, okay? So it is absolutely important to understand the structure. You need to know what to expect. You need to know how to answer the questions, what to do, etc. But if you have issues with article use or pronunciation, or if you lack the ability to use accurate grammar, then of course, no matter how much you know the TOEFL, how much you understand the TOEFL, your score is going to reflect that. So let's go over any questions. Anyone watching live? Does anybody have any questions about what we reviewed related to the speaking or the writing section? Are there any questions about what we reviewed, about this general overview of the speaking and the writing section? I know there's a little bit of a delay, but I do want to allow some time for questions. So looking at the chat, you know, I know we have Antonio here, Hassan, we have Dora, Rama was here earlier, Estella, Yaya, Keen, Abdullah. So if you're still watching, does anybody have questions about what we've reviewed, about any of this topic we've seen today? This is a live training. It's a masterclass. Do you have any questions about the information presented? Yes, I did explain everything. So again, general review. But as I mentioned, so today, this is similar to information that I give in my TOEFL training programs. However, I wanted to provide this for you because I know I have a lot of learners who are preparing for the TOEFL. But again, this is just general. So if you need to identify your weaknesses, or if you need to know what your issue is, or if you need feedback, if you need information, then you definitely need to have some kind of assessment or some kind of analysis. Popping it back into a question, Dora, let's say the question requires a 200-word essay. How many words are the highest limit? Dora, too much focus on the word count. As I mentioned, everything in this presentation said there's a suggested word count, suggested just to give an idea of what would be needed for a developed response. Okay, that does not mean there's a minimum or a maximum. So how many words are the highest limit? There is no highest limit, there is no maximum. The limit is quality. Do not write 300 words because you want to write 300 words, okay? That is not going to give you a good score. You will get a higher score if you have 200 words that's fully developed and organized over a 350 word that's disorganized and lacks clarity. So Dora, that's your second question on word count. Good, so Antonia de Lima as well. Don't focus on word count. Notice that in this presentation, I just briefly said there's a suggested word count, quality, quality, quality. So don't worry about word count. What you want to do is practice writing, write an essay. I recommend, I recommend getting it assessed or having it graded, or get an essay, review an essay online to see review a high quality, high score essay and look at the word count. Don't look at the word count to say what you need, but look at the word count to see what is a developed essay. I can give some advice for books in my email. So Hassan HB, I'm going to send a replay email with this because there was tech difficulties and the link that I sent in the email this morning was wrong because of my tech issues. So sign up for my email or send me a message and I can give you some of the books that I use in my training classes. So I will give you a list of recommended books and I'll send that in the email with the replay as well. So again, this was general average learners, general information for the average learner, okay? If you want help, okay? So let me go back to the screen. This is information that's going to help you. However, if you have issues, if you don't know where your weaknesses are, if you make a lot of problems when you speak, if you're not sure if your essay is the correct structure, Dora, if you don't know if your essay is enough words or if it's too many words, right? You'll need to definitely get help. So I've helped TOEFL students achieve a 27 on speaking. I've helped them get 25s and 26 and above on writing. I've helped students improve their scores to over 100, 100 and higher. But most importantly, in my TOEFL training with students, I help students understand their weak points so they can have more focused improvement, because no learner is the same. Today's presentation was generalized, but every student is going to have a different weak point every student is going to have a different problem, a different challenge, I should say. So think about the TOEFL preparation. Okay, now let's talk about if you want to study for the TOEFL. You can review tons of free information on there. This video is free, right? It gives a lot of really valuable information. But again, if you need to review your strengths and your weaknesses, if you need feedback on your English and your proficiency, there's only the possibility to hire a private tutor. Sometimes some websites do have speaking analysis, like the ETS website, the TOEFL's main website, has a speaking analysis tool that you can, again, it's for purchase though, you have to buy it. But if you go to the ETS main website, I'll include this in the replay as well, in the replay email. If you go to the ETS, the TOEFL website, you can see different preparation materials, books, free classes, videos, things like that. And you'll see like a speaking analysis or a speaking assessment. So the speaking assessment tool, you buy it, you get a question, you record your answer, you send it to the ETS website or you submit it through this program, and then you get feedback like you would on a test. But again, you still have to pay for this because there's someone or something giving you personalized feedback. So how much time and how much can you expect to spend with a private tutor on one-on-one lessons? Well, I've seen lessons from anywhere from $45 up to $100 per hour for a private tutor for TOEFL training. This right here is a rough guide about the shortest amount of time that I've done with students preparing for the TOEFL. It's about 6 hours. So 1 hour to review the speaking, 1 hour to go through the questions with your answers and feedback, 1 hour to review the writing, 1 hour to go over your questions, 2 hours to complete all the essays and complete them and edit them and get feedback, and then about 1 hour post-speaking, post-writing to go over questions, problems, challenges, obstacles, and to follow up. So the minimum time I've spent with my TOEFL students is 6 hours. Generally, it's a lot more than that, but that's the quickest. So that's going to cost you anywhere from $270 to $600 for a private tutor. Again, you can study on your own. You can study by yourself, but you won't get the personalized feedback, and that's what we're talking about today. So I am presenting you with three options that you can study with me if you want to get more personalized feedback on your response. So today I had a masterclass with general information. I'm going to be holding a second masterclass the second week in May. Everybody who signs up for this masterclass will vote on the time. So it's not going to be here on YouTube. It's not going to be the same structure as today. It's going to be a more formal training. In this training, we're going to go over the weaknesses, the doubts, the questions of everybody in this TOEFL program. And we're going to review specific questions on notes, strategies for note-taking, and we're going to go into more detailed tips and advice. You can also have your speaking assessed and you can get speaking feedback. So you can send me your recorded answers, like the test, and you can get feedback and you can get analysis. I'm also giving you the option to have your writing assessed today. I won't assess it today, but you have the option to get it today. You can send in your 2 essays and you can get feedback and analysis. So the 3 options for today are you can pay $99 for the writing feedback and the masterclass, or you can pay $99 for the speaking feedback and the masterclass, or if you want to have your speaking and your writing analyzed and you want feedback on your speaking and your writing and you want to join the masterclass, then it will only be $175. So remember, you got today's training. Today's training really is for free. Then you will additionally get another 45-minute masterclass plus your writing, your speaking, or both analyzed. All right, so if you want to sign up, I'm only taking 10 students for this next masterclass because I'm listening to audio, I'm giving feedback, and I'm writing. Because I'm creating this masterclass based on the participants' questions and weaknesses, I'm only taking 10 students. I'm only taking 10 students this time because I need to have I can't do any more than that because I won't have time to give enough detailed feedback. So if you want to join, if you want to be one of these 10 students, you can sign up today. You can sign up tomorrow. However, enrollment closes on Sunday because we have to have enough time to give feedback, get questions, and create this master class. So again, this master class is going to be based on the participants' questions, the participants' weaknesses, and more detail specifically about those in this course. Let me just show you here. So this is the very quick link that you can go to. And you are going to see this screen right here. All right, let me re-share my screen with everybody. Hello. Here we go. So you can see, you're going to see this screen right here. If you use that quick link, bit.ly/TOEFL Jen, and you'll see this link. So this is TOEFL feedback with Jennifer. Okay, you can review your speaking, you can review your writing, or you can do both and join the master class. Here is going to be links that you can click to sign up. Okay, if you want to know more about my students, their success, then I have included this success story from my student Victoria, and you can hear how Victoria has studied with me, what she improved, and why she recommends studying TOEFL with me. Again, because I can tell you that you should study with me, but if you hear a student success story, then that will help. So this is how you can join the training. And yes, let me go back to this screen here really quickly. Again, just in case you want to see the information here. There we go. So again, everyone watching, you had a lot of free information today. So if you are okay with just this free information and this general feedback, great. I know that today's presentation will absolutely help you improve your scores if you focus on the strategies and focus on the tips that I've presented today. However, if you need to take the TOEFL and you need to get a high score, then it's absolutely necessary that you understand your weaknesses and you understand where you need to improve. This is especially true if you've taken the TOEFL several times and you haven't achieved your goal score, okay? So if you don't want to join this course, that is okay. That's fine, okay? I'm only taking 10 students to help 10 students passing the TOEFL today. And if you're interested in it later, maybe I'll offer this course later. However, I'm just offering it this weekend to prepare for the masterclass happening May 2nd. So if you want feedback on your TOEFL essays, if you want to understand your mistakes and you want to know what you need to fix, then I recommend getting writing feedback. If you're unsure about your speaking responses, if you want analysis and feedback on your pronunciation or your grammar or your structure, then I recommend getting speaking feedback. If you know both are important and you're not familiar with both, then you definitely want to do both. All right, so we're gonna wrap up this training here. It was extra long because of the issues today. If you have any questions, you can write it in the comments below this video. You can write it in the chat box right now and I'll see it for the next couple of minutes. Or you can send me an email. I will be sending this video replay and this information. I'll be sending my book recommendations and what I use in my class if you signed up for this training and if you get my emails. So if you get my emails, you'll get this information. If you don't get my emails and you want it, go to my website, EnglishOutsideTheBox.com, and send me a message, and I'll make sure you get this review. So let me end the screen share to say goodbye. Let's see here. Hello. Okay. So answering the one question in the chat, it's not related, but Hassan, you want to know how many languages do you speak? How many languages did you learn before? I studied Spanish in Spain. I lived in Brazil and studied Portuguese. So I fluently speak Portuguese, fluently speak English, and I learned Spanish as well. Awesome. All right, we are going to wrap this up. So if you have any questions about your TOEFL feedback, if you have any questions about your weaknesses, then I recommend signing up for this course to get some feedback to help you improve your TOEFL writing and speaking scores. Again, I'll be sending this video replay, some notes, book recommendations, and related things to your email later if you signed up for the training. If you do not receive my emails and you want this email, go to my website, EnglishOutsideTheBox.com, click Contact, and send me a message. All right, guys, have a wonderful Saturday. Thanks for learning with English Outside the Box. And remember, your everyday English lessons are changing. They will no longer be on Saturday. We're going to be doing lessons on Tuesday. So come back this Tuesday for an everyday English lesson. We'll be talking about skills and English that you need to feel more comfortable and confident in your daily life, working, living, and traveling in English more comfortably and confidently. I'm Jennifer Nascimento with English Outside the Box, and happy studying today. Bye-bye.